Many people look in the mirror one day and feel shocked by what they see. Hair that was once thick now feels thin. The brush feels faster. The scalp shows more than it used to. Most people are told this is just age, genetics or hormones, but the body tells a much deeper story. Hair is not a luxury tissue. It is a reflection of what is happening inside. When nutrition is missing, circulation is poor, or digestion is weak, the body quietly diverts resources away from hair to protect the heart, brain, and vital organs. And the beautiful thing is this: when the body is nourished again, hair often responds. Hair follicles are some of the most rapidly dividing cells in the body. That means they require a constant supply of minerals, protein, healthy fats, oxygen, and vitamins. If even one piece is missing, hair growth slows, strands weaken, and shedding increases. Instead of chasing expensive products, the real work begins in the kitchen. Hair does not fall without a reason, and it never does so quietly. Every strand that leaves your scalp is a message from deep inside the body, a signal that something essential is missing, misused, or no longer absorbed the way it once was. Long before disease appears, long before blood tests raise alarms, the body begins to ration nutrients, and hair is one of the first places where that rationing becomes visible. Science shows that hair follicles are among the most metabolically active structures in the human body, dividing faster than almost any other cell, which means they demand a constant, rich supply of protein, minerals, oxygen, and energy. When that supply is interrupted, hair growth slows, weakens, and eventually stops, not as a cosmetic issue, but as a survival strategy. Research has shown that protein deficiency alone can push hair follicles prematurely into the shedding phase, a condition known as telogen effluvium, where hair falls not because it is old, but because the body can no longer afford to keep it. The body is always intelligent. When resources are scarce, it protects the brain, heart, liver, and kidneys first. Hair, skin, and nails are considered non-essential for survival, so they are the first to be sacrificed. This is why people experiencing rapid weight loss, chronic stress, illness, or poor digestion often notice hair thinning months later, not immediately, because hair reflects the body's past nutritional history. Iron deficiency is another silent thief of hair. Studies reveal that low iron levels reduce oxygen delivery to hair follicles, effectively suffocating them. Without oxygen, follicles shrink, growth slows, and strands become thinner until they fall away. Magnesium deficiency, common in modern diets, affects blood vessel relaxation and circulation to the scalp, while zinc deficiency interferes directly with hair tissue repair and follicle recovery. Even a mild deficiency, one that does not trigger obvious symptoms, can quietly accelerate hair loss over time. Hormones are often blamed, but hormones do not act alone. They respond to nutrition. Thyroid hormones, which regulate metabolism and hair growth, depend on iodine, selenium, zinc, and protein. When these nutrients are missing, hormone signals weaken and hair follicles lose their growth rhythm. Vitamin D, now recognized as a hormone itself, has receptors directly inside hair follicles, and low levels have been repeatedly linked to thinning hair and poor regrowth. This is not coincidence. It is biology. Digestive health plays a role that is often overlooked. You can eat the best food in the world, but if digestion is weak, inflamed, or imbalanced, nutrients pass through unused. Research shows that low stomach acid, common with age and chronic stress, reduces absorption of protein, iron, calcium, and B vitamins, all critical for hair growth. Gut inflammation alters the microbiome, which interferes with nutrient synthesis and immune balance, creating a silent environment where hair follicles struggle to survive. Hair loss in many cases is not about what you eat, but about what your body can no longer extract. Stress is another powerful force. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, a hormone that directly disrupts the hair growth cycle. Studies show that prolonged cortisol exposure can push hair follicles into a prolonged resting phase, preventing new growth from emerging. Stress also depletes magnesium, zinc, and B vitamins, compounding nutritional loss. This creates a vicious cycle where stress weakens hair loss increases emotional stress, and the body becomes further depleted. Modern diets add another layer of damage. Ultra-processed foods are calorie-dense but nutrient-poor, filling the stomach while starving the cells. Sugar spikes insulin, which disrupts hormone balance and increases inflammation, both of which negatively affect hair follicles. Vegetable oils high in omega-6 fats promote inflammatory pathways that can impair scalp health and circulation. Over time, the body becomes overfed yet undernourished, and hair quietly pays the price. Scientific studies confirm that when nutritional deficiencies are corrected, hair follicles can re-enter the growth phase. Reduced shedding is often the first sign, followed by stronger texture and improved scalp health. Hair regrowth is slow because hair grows slowly, but the biological response begins almost immediately once the body senses abundance again. The body is designed to heal when given the proper materials. This is why hair loss should never be treated as an isolated problem. It is a reflection of the entire internal environment. When circulation improves, when minerals are replenished, when protein intake becomes sufficient, when digestion heals, hair follicles regain the confidence to grow again. The body does not resist healing. It has been waiting for permission all along. Every strand of hair is a record of nourishment, stress, and balance. Hair tells the truth even when we ignore it. And when the body is finally supported instead of forced, hair does not need to be chased or stimulated. It returns quietly, gradually, as a sign that the internal system is once again strong enough to sustain life beyond survival. When the body is finally nourished the way it was designed to be, hair does something remarkable. It remembers how to grow. This is not optimism or belief, it is biology responding to abundance. Hair follicles are not dead when they stop producing visible hair. In most cases, they are dormant, conserving energy, waiting for proof that the internal environment is once again safe, stable, and well supplied. Scientific research confirms that once deficiencies are corrected, follicles can shift back from the resting phase into active growth, often without any external stimulation at all. The body does not need to be forced to heal, it needs to be fed. Protein is the first signal of safety. Hair is built primarily from keratin, a structural protein that requires a steady supply of amino acids. Studies show that even moderate protein insufficiency can shut down hair production, especially in women and older adults. When protein intake increases consistently, the body senses that growth is once again affordable. The liver releases growth signals, muscle repair improves, and hair follicles receive the message that building is allowed again. This is why reduced shedding is often noticed before regrowth, because the body stops cutting losses before it begins rebuilding. Minerals act as switches that turn hair growth on or off. Zinc activates enzymes responsible for hair tissue repair. Iron delivers oxygen to the rapidly dividing cells inside the follicle. Magnesium relaxes blood vessels, improving circulation to the scalp. Selenium protects follicles from oxidative stress. Research shows that restoring mineral balance does not just slow hair loss, it improves hair diameter, strength, and anchoring. Hair becomes harder to pull out, not because it is treated, but because it is finally supported. Healthy fats send another powerful signal. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation around hair follicles and improve the lipid layer of the scalp. Chronic low-grade inflammation has been shown to disrupt the hair growth cycle, keeping follicles trapped in a resting state. When inflammation calms, follicles regain sensitivity to growth hormones. Studies have demonstrated improved hair density and reduced breakage when omega-3 intake is consistent, especially in people with dry scalp and thinning hair. Vitamins do not work in isolation, they work in networks. Vitamin D receptors exist directly within hair follicles, and low vitamin D levels are repeatedly associated with poor regrowth. B vitamins support cellular energy production, allowing follicles to divide efficiently. Vitamin C supports collagen synthesis and enhances iron absorption, indirectly strengthening hair roots. When these nutrients are supplied through whole foods rather than isolated supplements, the body recognizes them as usable, safe, and synergistic. Digestive healing plays a role that cannot be overstated. Research shows that nutrient absorption declines with age, stress, and chronic inflammation. Low stomach acid reduces protein and mineral uptake. Imbalanced gut bacteria interfere with vitamin synthesis and immune regulation. When digestion improves, nutrient delivery improves everywhere, including the scalp. People often notice stronger nails and improved skin alongside hair changes because the entire system is finally receiving what it needs. Blood flow is another quiet hero in hair restoration. Hair follicles depend on microcirculation. When circulation improves, oxygen and nutrients reach the follicle bulb more efficiently. Foods rich in nitrates, magnesium and antioxidants support blood vessel health naturally. Improved circulation does not feel dramatic, but it creates an environment where growth becomes possible again. Hair follicles respond not to stimulation, but to supply. Time is the final ingredient, and it is often misunderstood. Hair grows slowly, averaging about 1 centimeter per month. The changes happening inside the body today will appear on the scalp weeks or months later. This delay causes many people to give up too early, believing nourishment is not working. But science shows that follicles must complete a full growth cycle before visible improvement appears. Reduced shedding is the first victory. Stronger texture follows. New growth comes last. Patience is not passive. It is part of the process. What is truly shocking is how quickly the body responds internally once nourishment becomes consistent. Within days, mineral levels begin to rebalance. Within weeks, inflammatory markers can decline. Within months, dormant follicles can reactivate. Hair regrowth is not magic. It is the body returning to a state it recognizes as safe enough to invest in non-essential tissues again. This is why chasing products rarely works long-term. Topical treatments may stimulate temporarily, but without internal support, follicles eventually retreat again. True restoration comes from aligning with the body's priorities. When the body no longer has to choose between survival and growth, it chooses both. Hair returning is not just a cosmetic change. It is evidence that digestion is functioning, circulation is improving, hormones are stabilizing, and nutrient stores are replenished. It is a visible sign of internal recovery. The body is not broken, it is responsive, and when it is consistently given what it needs, it does not hesitate to rebuild what was lost.